Hi guys, this is Derek Mikulski from LE Mag, Long Exposure Photography Magazine. Welcome to the next episode of Talking Pictures. Today I will present and discuss an image I find absolutely wonderful, which is Apocalypse by a Cornish photographer, Lee Tippett. Before I do that though, a big shout out to the sponsor of the podcast, Permajet. We printed Lee's image on day paper, silk, our art silk matte paper, which is absolutely wonderful. We're going to present it a little bit later on, so big shout out to Permajet. Before we move to discuss the image itself, let me say just who Lee is. Lee Tippett is a Cornwall-born photographer who now lives in Somerset. Travels across southwest of the UK to photograph, but also goes to Ireland, Wales and Scotland. This image, this particular image, has been taken, Lee says, on the Isle of Eigg in Inner Hebrides. The name of the beach where the image was taken is called the Bay of Laig, which is situated in the northwest of the island. And Lee says that he's previously seen quite a few images from the bay by various photographers, of course, but notably by Bruce Percy, whom he has a very high respect for, as he says. That was the first time Lee went to the Isle of Eigg, and says he was extremely impressed with the beautiful little island. And would love to revisit in the future. As for technical aspects, and camera settings, the focal length used for this image was 16 millimeters f at f9 with 1/15 of a second of time exposure. Not that obviously that matters a lot, because if you and I go there, everything will be different. So obviously our settings will be different as well. We have presented Lee before in the magazine. We did that in April in a section with One to Watch, with a number of images, but especially that is the image. The Apocalypse was the image that caught my eye. Lee presented his work online, I believe February or March, from his exhibition. I viewed that, and that was the image that instantly caught my eye. It's one of those, I'm sure you know those moments when you think like, oh God, I wish that was mine, or I wish I would like to have this image on my wall. It's so beautiful. It really speaks to me. It's very much up my street, and that was the case with Apocalypse. And that was why I asked Lee if we could have this image printed here and presented to you guys. Let us now take a look at the image itself. Okay, so let us now move directly to discussing the picture. This is very much a seascape and landscape image with a center point as an island in the distance, but it's actually quite misleading, because although the leading lines seems to be leading the eye towards the darkened area of Ireland. What actually is happening here, the eye is immediately drawn to the area in the clouds just above the island, thanks to the change in colors and tones, thanks to the sort of riot in the sky that is going on there, with the light breaking through the clouds, and in fact those clouds here, they're just acting also as kind of leading lights. So the eye is drawn to that area from all angles, wherever you start looking at it.
The reason why I also like this image is because it's something that is that I like in all the images. It has a lot of breathing space all around. There is no obstruction. There is nothing that would draw the eye in any direction away from the core here. I would say that this is an image that is very much taken in line with the Henri Cartier-Bresson's the idea of the decisive moment. Although obviously this is a landscape, not photojournalism, but that would be it. Just wait until the light and the clouds and all the elements are perfect and right, and take the image there. And it actually shows the power and the beauty of all the elements: the sky, the light, the sun, the water. It's lovely. Very violent image as well. If you go to Lee's website and look at his, or you know it, his mono work, it's very calm, it's very quiet, it's very much, you know, that kind of Zen style long exposure work. Whereas here, it's all about power and rage and the beauty of the element, and it's just a very, very different picture to what he presents otherwise. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why I kind of liked it as well. It's very blue, and some people find well, blue is regarded as a cold color. I tend to like blue very much, so perhaps one of the subliminal reasons why I looked at this image initially. But also that blue, the juxtaposition here of the blue color and that little space of yellow and reddish and pinkish color, it's very powerful here. It's again one of those instances where a little goes a very, very long way, and it's the reflection also, which is very important here. The reflection of what's happening in the sky, the reflection of it in water, is not overcooked. It's barely suggested, really, which then again works very well for this image. It doesn't drag the eye away from the center of attention here. So it's the image is balanced on its borders with no distraction, and it's also balanced in the way it leads the eye and the interest is presented. So Lee gave this name an apocalypse, but having looked at this image for quite a while, and a number of times actually, I'm more of an opinion that it's not about apocalypse. It's just a natural phenomenon, and even if it is, if we agree that it is an apocalypse, it's not a disaster. It's something that occurs in nature, and it just presents what nature is all about very often. So in contrast to his mono work, this is something that it's balancing his approach to the landscapes he focuses on. Very much environmental image, very much perfect capture here. The depth of scene, because of the leading lights and the interest in the sky, is really well preserved. All this is makes a perfectly interesting picture, one that definitely is, you know, frame worthy really. And should be well presented in a number of occasions. I'm not surprised that it was the most popular, as Lee says, the most popular image at his exhibition.
So there were the reasons why I enjoyed Apocalypse by Lee Tippett. do visit his website. It's www.leetippett.com. And that will be all from me for now, until the next episode, when I will present an image by Roy Fraser from his trip to Hokkaido. Bye now.